refit outfit, $10, for that total of $2,094.42. And in our budgeted items, which are items we set aside for certain things that have to be done, we have $3,125, which gives us a total of $5,219.42. Okay?
Did that include any money that was collected from the rally last week?
I haven't even counted
Okay,
that.
that's
None of that.
fine.
This
Okay.
is just January.
So-
I just got home
You
yesterday.
did, I know, sorry. I didn't think so. I just put it out there.
No money from that's collected. This is
Okay.
just from January to March.
March, okay.
Okay. The envelopes we are passing out right now is for the offering that will be taken today. If you just put some money in this envelope and don't mark anything on it that you want it to go to, it goes in the general account. Okay? So if you want it to go to one of the items that is listed on there, please mark that in the amount. If not, then I just put it in the general account or in my pocket.
A little vacation money.
Right. I'm going again in November, so I'll leave it.
Thank you. All right, let me look at my list, yes. I made myself okay. So, we're up to the different officers to see whether or not you have some kind of a report to give us. And first on my list is personal development, or Sherman.
Go Doris. Doesn't she look nice?
Yes.
It's close to this.
I'm just right here. Two of you together. I'll stand between.
Not much new as far as personal development is concerned, but I wonder how many of you got the piece on the literature contest. We added a new twist to it this year. We're going to announce at the summer conference the grand winner. In the past, we've honored churches, small, medium, large, and whatnot, the number of readers that you've had. And we've relaxed the rules a lot in that we used to require the number of pages of a book, the author and all that. We're relying more on your honesty now and just labeling the number of the books that you have. There's also a segment for devotions. So there's a big category, but the new part that I thought was kind of cute, and it's a $25 gift certificate, goes with this. The new literature contest. Read one of the Pauline letters. Someone said, Pauline letters. Well, I'm going to leave that up to you to figure that out if you don't know. In April, read a book of the Bible that contains the word fool. In July, read a book whose name makes like coffee brewing. So you see, there's just some funny things about it. And if you can do all of that, $25 is yours. There are some papers on the back table that I brought and made up like this. There's also an old form that we've had for 100 years. It still works good, so we're keeping it. And it gives the Bible books of the month that we're supposed to be reading as well. Yes.
The name will be drawn of everybody that sends in the
Yeah.
concept
Yeah.
for a 25. Not everybody gets 25.
No, not as big as 25. No, I'd have to find another job if I did that.
Because we're hoping you all read that one.
Right, I hope you will. So it'll be interesting to see how many. I know this was a little late going out last fall, and for people that don't have regular association meetings, you don't get to rallies and things, sometimes you're kind of left out. You don't know a lot of these things that's going on. I don't really know how to fix it, but hopefully somebody.
Well, futuristically, we're hoping to have everything up
On
on
the
the web.
computer, yes. But not everybody's computer literate, but anyway. There's also in the back, by the way, speaking of that, I made a few copies of the trifold directory. We've done away with the old directories, unfortunately. I still like them. Gave you a lot of information about the various associations, what was going on, what they did, and so forth. So now there's just a trifold paper, much like this, that gives you your state officers, tells you about the different dates that's coming up, your special interest missionaries, that type of thing. So anyway, I made some copies. Actually, there's 3 pages because my I didn't know how to make the coffee, I did on the side of the page, so. But they're stapled there, help yourself, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, next on my list is Sharon Cates, who is for church and community.
It's nice to see you all here, and I thought that young lady who did the Ten Commandments did a great job.
I guess you did.
Recently, a lady in my church got assaulted and sodomized and raped. And she was able to forgive the person, not to say that he's not going to be judged for what he did. And it got me to wondering, you know, am I that close with Jesus that I could forgive somebody for doing that? And so you'll see in the potential and all that I'm going to be working on building our healthy relationships, because we all need each other when we go through different circumstances that are facing us, such as elder abuse, being assaulted by other people. So I'm going to go over some characteristics of a healthy relationship, which we should be practicing when people come into our church. Communication should be open and happen easily. Rules and limit on your time and energy should be clear. Each person individually should have freedom and personal identity enhanced by a relationship, not taken down. Each person should enjoy doing things for themselves as well as for others. You're valuable, you know, and you're worth everything that God has created. You should play, have humor, have fun together, in a common place. And what better place than a church? You don't want to fix or control someone else. We all have our own individuality. We all have something to give. There's one lady in our church who seems, if you look at her, would think that she's kind of down and out and real simple. But that woman can give you every Bible verse from memory. I wish I could. Each of us should accept ourselves and others for who they are. Each person should feel comfortable expressing feelings and needs. Each person should feel self-confident and secure in their own work. Each person should take responsibility for his or her own behaviors and happiness. If there's conflict, face it directly and resolve it. Sometimes we need to involve our pastors or other people. Constructive feedback is given and accepted graciously. Everybody has good ideas. Each is trustful of the other. There should be a balance in our giving and taking. Tolerance, forgiveness of self and others should be present. Mistakes should be a learning experience and accepted. You should be willing to take risk and be vulnerable, because that person that's walking beside you, you can trust. You should have interest in many things for a relationship to exist. You can enjoy being alone, and your privacy should be respected. You should strive for personal growth, change, and exploration. There should be a balance between your time and your walk with God. 10 reasons I'm a woman of God, because God gives my life purpose and meaning. I know where to go when I need answers. He gives me strength and comfort in times of challenge. God grants me the wisdom and courage when I need it most. He surrounds me with people such as you, who help me, encourage me, and enlighten me. With God, all things are possible. The more I pray, the more I discover the many depths of God and His Word. God blesses me with love, joy, peace, and so much more. I know God has plans for me of a bright and bountiful future. God provides me with all I need in life. And that was witnessed when the different associations helped us go on this trip to the Dominican Republic. Because our group was safe, we had a good journey to, and we had a good journey back. And I think we all got what we needed out of it. Much more of a blessing than what we gave. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on my list, Joyce, you have something for us regarding
Yes, I
mission
do.
and service? Wonderful.
Whoops, I got a kink.
Oh, no.
It's okay. That's not a good thing, thank you, Paul. That broad moved, I think, no, I'm kidding.
Okay. Thanks to Mary Jane, I have some information on international ministries. I have a list of names, and where they're from and emails, if somebody would like to copy that down, or if you want to email me, I can send it to you. I learned how to stand, I'm so cool. One of them is Mrs. Marilyn Bertaz.
I think it's rats. I don't know, I've never heard. But when we get there this summer, she'll say her name and we'll know how to say it.
Okay, like I said, she should be at summer conference, so that would be kind of cool. I'm just kind of learning this, so a couple of you have called me, and unfortunately, I'm not good at getting back. So I do have names of our special interest missions. If you want to get them, and just let me know, and I'll try to do better.
Okay, pink on number.
Thank you. Are you ready to tell us about gifts of love, Elaine? Thank you.
It's good to see here everybody this morning. It's my first time in Houlton, so, and we had a close encounter with a moose on the road last night. A little too close. God must have been watching out for us, I'm sure, because he was really at the edge and we would have hit him, and he really turned around and decided to go back in the woods, which is a real good idea. So we're very thankful. So I'm here to promote and urge you to pick up some flyers that look like this that are on the back table. This is for the information for the award that we give for what we call the Educational Gift of Love. We can no longer, and it's been this way for several years now, we don't call it scholarship because it counts against the people at their school and reduces their financial aid. So we don't call it a scholarship, so it is a gift of love. Our criteria at this time, and this is open, I want to stress this because I don't always think of it, but this is open to men as well as women. So if you know someone who fits the criteria, please let us know, and they can contact me either through the phone, my phone number or email address is on the form, and I'll be happy to send an application to them. The applications need to be in by June 1st. But the person needs to be a member of an American Baptist church here in Maine, be enrolled in a Christian college or seminary, and are planning on entering some kind of Christian service. So if you know of anybody who fits that bill, men or women, please let us know. I've had no application inquiries yet, and so I'm hoping that we get some interest. And so please get the word out and take this back to your church and promote it in your women's groups or whatever around, and hopefully we'll hear. Okay?
Okay, thank you. I was under the impression that Linda Dean and Ruth Gammon were. Ruth is here. Linda is not. Thank you. I am so glad. Do you want to do your skit now, or?
Yes, whenever you like.
Okay.
Wanda,
Let's do that.
Wanda, I have to talk about potential in a minute.
I'm sorry, talk about.
Potential.
Oh, all right. We'll put your skit towards the end if that's all right. Okay. I'm gonna, because I do have a couple of other things. Do you want to come and talk about that, Alice?
Yes.
Okay.
I got finagled into this job and found out that I'm in charge of the potential list. Now,
For those of you who aren't aware, Potential is our American Baptist Women's newsletter. Goes out 3 times a year. And that's the only way you know what's going on in the state with your state group and with your other churches and other associations. So it is an important newsletter. However, in the past few years, I have 5 pages of lists like this. Goes on and on and on. We have tried to send out as many as we can so we get the reduced postal rate. But now we are finding that a lot of these are being returned, and we have to pay 59 cents for each one that is returned to us through the post office, which is losing us money. So we do not want to be sending them to people who maybe aren't even still alive. As going through the list, I have found several here that I know have passed on. And of course, they aren't receiving it anymore, and we're paying 59 cents to get it back. So we have decided in the board that from now on, we're not going to worry about the reduced postal rate. The Potential will be sent out with a regular postage stamp. So therefore, we have to reduce the list to those who are alive and really want it, and we have your correct address. There is a paper on the back table for you to sign up. If you're getting Potential, or if you want to get Potential, will you please sign up again? Because this list is going to be reduced drastically. Yes.
Also, if you go away for the winter months, because the Potential comes out in February, give us your winter address, please.
That's if you're having mail put on hold.
Well, no, they don't.
They do not forward
They
this.
don't forward.
They don't
They
forward.
don't.
They
This
put it
is-
as regular
This is
mail.
like magazines.
They will on regular mail.
They will regular
regular mail.
They will regular
But they
mail.
wouldn't on the bulk mail.
But I'm not sure, this would be like a magazine and it might not be forwarded. So,
Well,
we need to know.
we had quite a discussion about this at our last board meeting. And I'm sorry that Linda's not here to give you her perspective on this. But what gets mailed will be probably 3 sheets of paper. So it will be a reduced amount from what the Potential currently is. We did not discuss cost, but you need to know that we will expect you to pay whatever it will be determined. If you want to get the paper copy, if you want to see it online or have it emailed to you, that will be for free. But if you want to get it emailed for you too, you also have to give Alice your email
There's a
address.
space back there
So-
for that.
Write on there your physical mailing address if you want to receive it in the mail. Write on there your email address if you want to get it for free on your computer.
We want this to go out to as many people as possible.
Yes.
Because this is how you stay informed. So just sign up. We appreciate it very much. If you don't sign up, I'm going to have to contact 5 pages of people. Please.
It's time to do that if they're dead. Just saying.
Saying what?
Saying that's hard to do that if they're dead.
But it's very hard.
You're
Then I
not,
have to
you're
call
good,
somebody.
but you're not that good.
I am, well, you'd be surprised.
Just saying.
Just please help us. We want you to get the newsletter, but we have to know that it's going to you, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Alice.
But I'm glad to hear that's an option, because there was some discussion about just doing email, and I don't think that's a good idea. I think, like you said, if you want it email, sign up. If you want it by the mail, by letter,
Yes,
to do that.
yes.
So, yeah.
But like I said, we didn't discuss cost because we don't really know what it's going to cost yet. But by summer conference time, we will know how much it's going to cost for you to get it for a year.
Yeah.
And we'll let you know at that time, and you can make your choice. So you need to be at summer conference to find out and know what that's going to be. I do have a couple of other things before we get to Ruth, though. Let me see what I've got here. Oh, Mary Jane, you said you know about what the nominating committee needs to be telling us. We do know that Sheila Hanice has agreed to be the personal development person starting in August. But there are a few other offices
Yeah,
that will
the
be.
bylaws state who gets elected each year. And so I'll look at the year. This year, the officers needed the president. And since we had a president-elect, we know who is in nomination.
I hope you're lucky. Well, in some respects, I'm not sure.
And one who has said yes to being in nomination for personal development ministries is Sheila Nice, who'll be teaching the Bible studies at summer conference this year. And next year, please pray for the nominating committee. And if you're interested in any of these positions, write to me and I'll send you a copy of the bylaws that tells you what the job entails. For secretary, coordinator of church and community ministries, and coordinator of bike crossing and road relief. So that's 3 positions for next year, really important positions. And I would be happy to send you more information on those so that everybody in your church can know what those positions involve, and we'll get the best possible nominee for those.
Okay, thank you. My last piece before we hear Ruth's skit is inside of your program. You should have received a piece of paper with some black and red writing on it. We did actually vote on this very same piece of paper in the South because it needs to be from the whole organization. Actually, Mary Jane, can I ask you to do the review on this and what it is we're doing and why we're doing it, etc.? Thank you.
This is a bylaw revision, and because we are a group of American Baptist women, you are authorized to vote on bylaws now, and then we have another vote at annual meeting. But this, if we vote at the South Rally and the North Rally, that will all get added together, and we can approve these bylaws so that when I print the bylaws for summer conference, it will include these revisions. Okay, so this is fairly simple and straightforward, what you've got written down here. We did make one amendment before we voted last time, because when we look at the Article 6, which is on the bottom half of your page, the first part of the bottom half of your page, Article 6, duties of officers, administrative assistant. The very last one says be appointed by the executive board. Well, you can't do any of the other things unless you are appointed. So we're going to put that up at the top. That's the only change we're going to make on that. Otherwise, what's on the paper is what you're voting on. Are there any questions? Then I guess we're ready to make a vote. I will wait right here.
Okay. I would ask that those in favor of the revisions, please raise a hand so that we can count.
We did it last week.
Those who might be opposed to these revisions, please raise a hand. And I would like to count abstentions, please. Those who choose to not vote for whatever reason or really don't have an opinion as to what happens here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. Okay, so I think we're passed?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So this will be presented at summer conference as a
completed done deal.
these revisions will be incorporated, and Mary Jane will have new bylaws printed and ready for summer conference. All right, let me see if I have anything else on here. That's it. All right, Ruth, you're on. Thank you.
Oh, Ruth.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I think we.
Can you hear it?
No.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Almost.
Linda was planning to come up here today with me, but she is had a death in the family, so that's why she wasn't able to come. But she is the chairman of the summer conference, and I'm her assistant. So I guess that's what assistants have to do now. We do have a skit here, and I just want to make a little setting. There are 3 American Baptist ladies driving to the spring rally, talking about 2015 and the upcoming 2016 summer conference. There are 3 characters, Ruby, Opal, and Martha. Ruby.
I'm sure glad we have spring rallies.
Me too. It's such a long time at the summer conference though. I need the extra boost to get me going again after the long winter.
I wouldn't want to be conference chair this year. They really have to be inventive to have a better conference than Doris put on. That Lois Olmsted will be hard to beat. Has anyone heard anything about what's happening this summer?
I heard they are having a speaker from Maine. Her name is Bonnie Merrill. She's from Living Powers Ministry in Jefferson. And I've been told she's almost as good as Lois.
A woman from Maine that good? Hard to believe.
She can make you laugh and cry and really help to get you back on the spiritual path. If you need help getting back, not that any of us would.
I heard that the missionary speaker is Marilyn Ratz from Massachusetts, who specializes in conflict resolution. We could all use training in that sometimes.
Marilyn has worked in Africa and has a great message to share with us.
I've never been to summer conference. What else do you do?
Besides speakers, there are workshops, White Cross tables, and a silent auction. There's a pool, and I especially like the hot tub.
The beds are so comfortable and the view is to die for. You really see God's handiwork all around you up at Sugarloaf Mountain.
The food is great, too. I love not having to worry about meals for a couple of days.
Don't you worry about how everyone back home will fare without you?
Well, they won't starve in that short time, and I'm usually appreciated more, especially by my cat when I get back.
Plus, you have a whole new outlook on life after immersing yourself in the Lord for 2 days. It usually takes at least a month for my husband to start getting on my nerves again.
What's a day like at conference?
You arrive Thursday and get your room. Then the conference begins with a welcome from Al Fletcher, the AdCom Executive Minister. The speakers are introduced, and we have one of them in the afternoon and another in the evening.
There are workshops, hymn singing, and special music, too.
Don't forget all the fun and laughter. Joyce Warden has great jokes, and my cousin Hester Gilpatrick will be there with her hats. It's a wonderful time.
There are evening devotions, and some people just love that hot tub at night.
Okay. If you'd like to get up early, you go to morning watch, which is an outdoor morning worship, weather permitting.
Then a hearty breakfast buffet, and it starts again with speakers, singing, and workshops.
There is a business meeting on Friday. Not the most fun thing, but taking care of the business is an organization, is important.
The conference concludes Saturday morning after we celebrate communion.
You make new friends, meet up with old ones, and it's just a great time.
I don't know if I could afford it.
Well, you're in luck. There is a scholarship for first-timers. All you have to do is write to Andrea Dresser, our AEW president, and she will set you right up.
If you think about what you're getting, the price isn't that bad. 2 nights at a world-class hotel, 5 meals, a chance to reconnect with God and other women, inspirational speakers, singing, workshops, and sharing what others are doing in their churches.
You got me excited. I'm gonna write my scholarship request letter as soon as I get home. Can we travel together to summer conference too? You girls are the best.
The theme is See God's Mercy. Now, I have 2 baskets here. You're really lucked out because I had 8 that I gave away down at South, in the South, right. These, I would like an individual or an APW group or whatever. I only have 2, and I would like you to really fill them. Put something in the basket, and we're going to use them as the table decorations. It will be on the meals, so you don't want anything high that you can't see over. Just something, and they will be auctioned off probably Friday night, but they need to stay there through Saturday morning's breakfast. So if you would see me after, if I could get rid of 2 of them today, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Good job.
Thank you, Ruth, and thank you, other ladies, for your reports and your input. So now I have next on my list, it says offering. Are you taking care of that, or am I supposed to announce that? I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do about that.
I'll help you collect it.
All right, well,
Any leftover envelopes too, I'd like them back. I just gave all the envelopes, so any that aren't being used, I need them back also.
okay. Are we going to pass a basket or something? So you should put your envelope in the basket, whether or not there's anything in it. So, okay? We hope you'll put something in it, but if you can't, that's okay.
Always fair, when
Yeah.
there's no money used, all right.
Okay?
Roxanne, do you have a usher here?
No, do this and I'll pray after. Is that all right?
Okay, that's okay.
Are we all collected and handed in to Judy? All right.
Got it.
If you don't mind, let's have a prayer of dedication for them. Father God, we thank you so much for the ability of those who can give today. We thank you for the gifts that they have given. We ask that you would be with those who could not for whatever reason, and that you would pour out your spiritual blessing on this money, that you would turn it into what you need it to be, that we would be able to pay for those things that we need to pay for and be able to let go of the rest. We thank you and we praise you always in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Next on my list says Laura Sherman is going to tell us about her trip, and I'm sorry that we've left you such a short amount of time, but hopefully it will be sufficient. We're looking forward to what you have to share with us.
Before I do that, I just have 2 or 3 flowers I'd like to give out. It's been a tradition in times past that during our association spring meetings, and this is a rally, so there is a difference, but our association has been, what's the word? It hasn't been really functioning the last couple of years, so we haven't done it. But I know Mrs. Glatter has come since we had one of our meetings, and it was customary to give the pastors' wives a welcome flower. So Kelly's here today. Is she out in the kitchen?
Yes, Kelly.
Somebody's in the kitchen with Kelly? Kelly, come up just a minute. I got a flower for you. This is just a little welcome. And you've even got a choice. Which one would you like?
Purple.
Thank you. Got one big fan over here in the corner.
Hey, watch that.
Fan. Our pastor's wife, who's not an American Baptist woman, but we're claiming her for an American Baptist woman. She's with us too. So I want to welcome her and give her a flower. And then just like Mrs. Glatter, apparently she had to leave maybe.
She did. She had another event at her church.
Well, she did a wonderful job. Anyway, we'll leave that. Maybe somebody will see she gets that. I have paper, and I don't know what I did with it, that I wanted to be sure to mention, and I didn't want to go over because I know we're kind of limited in time. But I want just to give you a few things before I forget it. I want to thank everybody, first of all, that donated to the mission trip that I was on. I raised, or I shouldn't say I raised, but we raised close to $1,000, and that was on top of my $1,500 that I had put in for myself.
I think you better hold
Think
it.
I need to hold that?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, thank you. So we raised a lot of money for the trip, and it was worth every nickel that went into it, and I thank you so much. There was people from this church that participated, and it was wonderful. There was many things about that trip that I could tell you about. I can't begin to tell you all of it, but I want to say one thing. I remember the eyeglasses that we took, the used eyeglasses. At the clinics, we'd have the box of glasses on the table, and those that came along and during our triage session that said they were having headaches, having eye problems, they were offered the chance to go to the box and find a pair of glasses. And this old lady, I remember so distinct, I can see her face now. She went and picked up the pair of glasses, she put them on, and she turned around and she looked almost right at me. This great big smile, because she could see. You know, I mean, maybe I made her laugh, I'm not sure. I think it was the idea she had telling how long that she had been able to see well. She was lucky, she got a pair of glasses that she could see with them. But so those used eyeglasses that you get, they're certainly, you know, if that was any indication of the need. We saw over 1,200 patients. That's a lot of people. And I think it was 6 clinics. Hypertension was one of the big culprits. A lot of headaches, eye problems, parasites because of the poor water. There was just the people were also appreciative. They never complained about waiting. There was no pushing, shoving, or any of that type of thing. They just took what was offered and were thankful for it. I had the chance to hear Pastor Dennis preach over there, as well as Pastor Steve Stravell. And I had the chance to sing one night over there. It was, Sherry had brought some scarves from her church that the women had made and gave those out one evening to some ladies there. There was a couple of women from Houlton, Connie Kelly and her daughter Lexi. They made no-bake cookies one night. We had a little tea for the ladies, only they had Coke instead of tea because we didn't have cooking facilities there. But one of the funniest stories was this guy, which was a little bit unusual because there was usually women that would have all these children. This one man had 5 children, and one of the kids had a sore throat, apparently. It wasn't my patient, so I wasn't sure, but I was watching it. And the doctor was trying to look in the kid's mouth. Well, she was being very cooperative. Well, here the doctor was looking in. They had this other kid on the other side. He was looking in. There were people standing over the doctor's shoulder, and all the kids trying to help the doctor check that kid's throat out. It really was quite funny. So we just had a great time. What else would I want to make sure I mentioned to you? The whole thing was led by a Dr. Ardell Thomas and his wife from Pennsylvania, Peg, which, as everybody, I know Dennis knows, that they were involved in a bad accident just a little bit ago, but they're doing well from what I heard. And Pastor Tanis, I can't say, how do you say his last name? Derelus. Many of you probably have met him. He's a Haitian pastor. They're coming to Maine this summer, so if you get a chance to hear him, be sure and go out. I think that's everything I wanted. I know there are other things, but I can't find my paper, so anyway. We had several young men who are our interpreters, and they were just amazing guys. They were so respectful, they were so thoughtful, they were so just gentlemen. I mean, I don't know what I expected, but the trip was a trip of a lifetime, and it was certainly far more than I expected. And like so many times, we get far back more than what we can give. Getting up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to take a cold shower really wasn't my idea of fun, but I did it because, can you imagine, we had 2 bathrooms and 3 showers for over 25 women, I think. And of course, it was hot over there. And I remember that was one of the things that I was a little concerned about, was I going to be able to stand the heat? I was worried about creepy crawlers, because we took all kinds of bug spray. There's tarantulas over there. Did you realize that? I didn't see one, but somebody else did. And I said, if I'd seen one, I probably would have walked home, but I tried to. But I was just concerned how things were going to be. I prayed about it, and I remember I first heard about this trip up to Houlton last summer when I went up to sing, and Pastor Steve was talking about it, saying how they really needed medical personnel. And I'd often wanted to go on a medical mission trip, but I didn't want to go just as a sightseer. I wanted to do, and so I got a chance to do, as well as Sherry. And it was interesting because when I heard Pastor Steve talking about it, the Lord was kind of tugging at my heart, but I thought, well, I don't know, is this something I'm doing because I want to do it, or is it something the Lord really wants me to do? So I asked some friends to pray about it, because I had all these concerns. I wanted to be going for the right reason. And so the Lord, I said, just come to give me a sign. Can you give me a sign somehow? A couple weeks later, Sherry came to church. Sherry doesn't normally come to my church, and Sherry is a nurse. And that was another concern. I thought, now if I go on that trip, I won't know anybody else. And I don't have a problem making friends, but still I was a little bit, apprehensive about it. So then Sherry came, and I told her what was on my mind and what was all about it. I said, think about it, Sherry. That'd be a good trip for us. Pray about it. So a couple days later, she called back and said, the Lord is saying go. So that was my fleece. And it worked. And we had a great time. So getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning to cold showers, no, I'm not going to miss that a bit. I'm not going to miss the roosters crowing. Anytime after 1 o'clock in the morning, they start. Listening to the dog fights at night. listening to the music from one of the local bars. Didn't hear that too much, but they were there. The mopeds that were quite frequently. The occasional baby crying. Because we were in a compound that was like in the middle of town, wasn't it? And I remember we got there, we had the glass bottles, broken bottles on top of the fence, on the surrounding walls with the big barbed wire. But after I was there a day or two, I didn't even think about it. But those things I won't miss, but I certainly will miss the people. They were very kind, they were very loving, and they were just really glad that we were there. And that made me glad that I was there as well. So let's, without further ado, there's a lot of these, excuse me, go ahead.
Can I speak to
Yes, go right ahead.
One of the, I want Dennis to come tell his story because there was a miracle that happened there. And then I also have to tell you another little story about Dennis. He and Pastor Steve and Ron Butler were the second construction crew. You saw some pictures earlier, which was the first construction crew that went in 10 days ahead of us. And they had to take a lot of our supplies and all so that we could get them through customs. And they had built a church and had started a cistern for one of the bays where the Haitians kind of do a squatters village. But they're not taken care of by the people that own the land. And when they ran out of water, the church down there decided to help put in a well. So Dennis helped put on the roof of the cistern, and Steve learned about plumbing. Reverend Steve learned about plumbing so that they could hook it up. And he's going to tell you about the miracle that happened. But one of the other projects that they had to do is to spread gravel in the prayer garden. And Dennis and Ron had worked very, very hard, and it was getting to be 4 o'clock. It was hot. They were tired. And there's this little girl that her name is Phoebe, and she's probably about the size of this young lady there. And she came over to take their pictures. And after she got done taking the pictures, she put down the camera and picked up a shovel. Well, Dennis and them were about ready to quit. And she said, oh no, we can get this done, we can get this done. And